Good morning, students. Welcome you all for Next Generation Learning. Today, we are going to see the subject Science and Class 4, Chapter number 12 Weather, Air, and Water. Topics Weather, Wind, and Water. The first topic is weather. So, what is meaning by weather? Weather is the state of the atmosphere of place at a particular time. It can change every hour or every day from hot to cold and from wet to dry. We know that the earth is surrounded by some atmosphere. The state of that atmosphere is called weather. The weather can change every hour or every day from hot to cold and wet to dry. We know that when we see the sky, sometimes the sky is too hot. Suddenly it changed into dark cloud at the evening. So for every hour to hour, the atmosphere of the earth will be changed. That is called weather. Earth is tilted on its axis during its revolution around the sun. Half of it is close to the sun. We know that our earth is surrounded our earth is around the sun in the orbitals. During that revolution time, the half of the sun is close to the half of the earth is close to the sun, and the half of the earth is hidden from the sun rays. This portion is warm and has a long days summer season. So where the earth is close to the sun, that portion is very warm for a long days. On the other hand, the opposite half is away from the sun. This portion is cool and has shorter days winter. So the opposite side of the earth is away from the sun. So it receive only the small amount of the sun rays. So this portion is always cool and it has a winter days. The ray of the sun heat the land, air and water differently as discussed below. You know that the sun gives us a light. When the light fall on the land, air and water, it behaves differently. What is that? First we take land. We know that if you take our earth, the earth is covered 3 by 4th of water and one is land. The region receiving more sunlight is warm. In a wet land receiving more sunlight, that place is very warm. On the other hand, the region receiving less sunlight is cool. So which region receiving the less amount of sunlight, that portion is very cool. This affect the temperature of the region. So if you take land, some land receive more sunlight, some land receive less amount of sunlight. Where the sunlight is more, that portion is very warm. Where the sunlight is less, that portion is cool. So the temperature of the region is varying from one place to another place. Similarly, the amount of sunlight received during the afternoon is more as compared to that during the morning or evening. Um, so the temperature of the land is more at the afternoon comparing to the morning and evening. That's why mornings and evenings are cooler than afternoons. So comparing to afternoon, the morning and evening we feel cool because during afternoon time, the ray of sunlight is heavy. It is cooler at night because there is no sunlight. If you take land, it is very cool at night. Why? Because there is no sunlight fall on the land during the night time. So you learned that how the sunlight affect the land. How it will affect the land? If you take some region, it receive more sunlight, so that region is very warm. If some region receive less sunlight, that portion is cool. So the some places cool, some places hot. This is the effect of temperature in the land. The next one, wind. How does sunlight affect the wind? Sunlight causes the wind to blow. Due to the sunlight, the wind or blow. The process of formation of wind happens when air is heated by sunlight. The warm air is lighter and rise up. You know that our atmosphere is covered with water. Our atmosphere is covered with air. When the sunlight fall on the air is started to heat up. The hot air is always lighter and it rise up. The cool air rushes into take the places of the rising warm air. So when the warm air rise up, the surrounded cool air are rush up to take that the place. This process continues and forms wind. So this process continues and forms the wind. Are you understood how the wind is formed? Due to the sunlight, the wind is to blow. How the sunlight is causes the wind to blow means, you know that our atmosphere is covered with air. When the sunlight fall on the air is started to heat up. The heated air are always lighter and rise up. So the surrounded cool air take that place when the warm air or rise up. So the same process continues and forms the wind. The next, water. How the sunlight affect the water? Air contains water vapor. Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. It is a very important point. What is meant by the humidity? The humidity is nothing but how much amount of water vapor are present in the air. As the warm air rises up, it takes the water vapors with it. We know that the air contains water vapor. When the sunlight fall on the air is started to heat up. This heated air are always lighter and rise up. This rise up air takes the water vapor also with it. These water vapors cool down with the rising of the air and form cloud. When the water vapor are raised up, it cool down and form the cloud. Cool water vapors condense on dust particles to form droplet. So this cool water vapor or condense on dust particles, it forms the raindrop. This process continues till the droplet become heavy and fall in the form of rain. In the region where the temperature is less than 0 degrees Celsius, water droplet freeze and fall down in the form of snow. So from this we can know that how the rain fall and how the clouds are formed. When the hot air rise up, along with hot air, the water vapor also rise up. When it reached some certain height, it cools down and it forms the water droplet. So when the water droplets are heavy, it started to pour rain. So and some places the temperature of the surrounding is a very less. That time the water droplets are freeze and fall down in the form of snow. Dear students, I hope you understood how the sunlight affect land, water and wind. The next one, wind. Air is a mixture of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. It also contains dust particles, germs, smoke and water vapor. We are simply thinking that the air is only one component, but not like that. The air is a mixture of component. uh, it contains oxygen, carbon dioxide, dust particles, germs, smoke, and water vapor. Moving air is called wind. When the air is moved, that is called wind. When a light, pleasant wind moves gently, it is called breeze. When this wind move very gently and pleasantly, that wind is called breeze. Strong, fast moving wind are called storm. So strong and fast moving air is called, the fast moving wind is called storm. However, we have studied that land and water heat up differently. This difference in heating up land and water constitute sea breeze and land breeze. Let us study about them briefly. The wind can be divided into three types. One is normal blowing of air is called wind. So the light and pleasant wind is called breeze. The strong and fast moving wind is called storm. In the last topic, we have studied that the land and water heat up differently. So the difference in heating up the land and water is constitute the two process. One is a sea breeze and another one is a land breeze. Let us study about sea breeze and land breeze. What is meant by sea breeze and land breeze? The first one is sea breeze. You know that the breeze means very gentle and pleasant air. Wind is called breeze. Look at this diagram. Here I shown one image, that is a sea breeze. The land heats up faster during the day as compared to water in the sea. Here I took a sea and a land. So the sunlight fall on both the land and water during the daytime. But the land heat up faster during the day as compared to water in the sea. So which one heat up very faster? The land heat up very faster comparing to the water. This causes the air above the land to get heated up. So both the land and sea are covered with air. When the sunlight fall on the land and sea, both the air are started to heat up. But the air above the land are heated very faster than the sea. So the warm air being lighter than cold air and it rise up. So the air above the land is heated up faster and it is very lighter and it started to rise up. So the cool air above the sea occupies this space. This is called sea breeze, which is the cool breeze that blows towards the land during the day. So the warm air from the land or rise up, the cool air from the sea occupies the space of land. So here the cool breeze that blows towards the land during the day. So this process is called sea breeze. That's why when we are standing near the sea in the afternoon, we feel very cool because the cool air are coming from the sea towards the land. So we are standing on the land, we feel very cool during the afternoon time. The next one, land breeze. What is meant by land breeze? During the night, this is a night time, the land cools down faster than the water in the sea. So during night time there is no sunlight, so both the land and water is started to cool down. The air above the sea is warmer than the air above the land. So during night time the air above the land is very cool comparing to the air above the sea. So the hot air above the sea rise up and the cool air above the land occupies the space. So the hot air above the sea are lighter and it started to rise up. So the cool air from the land it sea occupies the sea. So this is called a land breeze, which is the cool breeze that blows towards the sea during the night time. So the cool breeze that blows towards the sea during the night time that is called land breeze. I hope you understood what is meant by the sea breeze and land breeze. If you take sea breeze, the warm air rise up from the land, the cool air from the sea blows towards the land, so it is called sea breeze. If you take land breeze, the warm air above the seas rise up, the cool air from the land blows towards the sea, so this breeze is called land breeze. The next one is water. Water exists on earth in the solid state as ice, in the liquid state as water, and in the gaseous state as water vapor. You know that the water is present in three form. One is a solid, liquid, and gas. The ice cube is form of solid state. The water is a liquid state, and water vapor is the gaseous state of water. Evaporation and condensation are two processes that are constantly taking place in the environment due to which water changes its form. So these processes drive the water cycle which is turn affect the weather condition. Dear students, you have to understand that what is the difference between the weather and the season. The season means it takes 1 or 2 or 3 months, but the weather will be changed from every hour to hour or every day to day. Evaporation and condensation are the two processes that are taking place in our environment. It drives the water cycle. Now we are going to learn what is meant by water cycle. If you take water cycle, the process involved in this cycle are evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Let us study about these process. Look at this diagram. This is a water cycle diagram. Here I showed a river and sunlight. When the sunlight fall on the river, the water are started to heat. So the heated water are raised up. This process is called evaporation. The red color arrow mark or water vapor, it are raised from the river. So when the water vapor are reached at a certain height, it is started to cool down. That process are called condensation. When the water droplet are heavy and it fall in the form of rain, so that process is called precipitation. So the water again reached in the river. Where it started? It has started at the river and end with the river. So this cycle is called water cycle. In this water cycle, there are the three processes are involved. One is evaporation, and another one is a condensation, and the third one is a precipitation. The first one, evaporation. When water is heated, it changes into water vapor. Here, the liquid state water are changed into gaseous state water vapor when we heat it. This process is called this process is called evaporation. Look at this diagram. Here I heated the water. The water vapor are raised up. This is called evaporation. It occurs continuously. However, there are certain conditions that can affect the rate of evaporation. The rate of evaporation depends upon the some conditions, some um, conditions. The first one is the speed of evaporation is faster in area with high temperature. Where the temperature is very high, Here, the speed of evaporation is high. Evaporation is a faster in area that are less humid. So, where the which area has less humid, where the evaporation is very fast. If a large amount of water is exposed to heat, then the rate of evaporation is increases. For example, evaporation is greater in ocean than in lake. So, the large amount of water exposed to heat means the evaporation rate also increases. So, in comparing to the lake, the ocean has a large area. So, the rate of evaporation is more in ocean comparing to lake. Strong wind increase the rate of evaporation. So these are the certain conditions can affect the rate of evaporation. One is um, if you take the area receive more sunlight means the rate of evaporation is more in that area. The next one, if you take a less humid area, the rate of evaporation is very fast. And a large amount of comparing to the area, if the area is more, the rate of evaporation also more. The next one, the strong wind increase the rate of evaporation. The next one, condensation. Water vapor gets converted into droplet of water when cooled. This process is called condensation. I already told that when the hot air or rise up, it cools down and form the water droplet. This process is called condensation. So when water vapor comes in contact with cool surface, it condenses to form water droplet. If the atmospheric temperature is at or below freezing 0 degree or 32 degree Fahrenheit, water droplet freeze to form snowflakes. Look at this diagram. Here the some water droplet are in the outer side of the object. Here this is called condensation. When this water vapor comes into contact with the cool surfaces, it condenses to form water droplet. So this is shown in this image. Here the water droplets are contact with this object. So it forms a small water droplet on the outer side of the object. The next one is precipitation. So, what is meant by precipitation? The higher the water vapor rises, the cooler it gets. The particles of water vapor condense as they cool and form cloud. The cloud move slowly, and when they pass through the cooler air, they became heavy. Eventually, they became so heavy that fall on land as raindrop. I already told that when the water droplets are condensed, again it cools down. So when it cools down, it became very heavy. So here the rain is started to pour. So the pouring of rain is called precipitation. There are various forms in which precipitation occurs depending on the temperature. Let us discuss these briefly. So the first type of precipitation is fog. The fog occurs when warm air cools rapidly and forms tiny water droplet that linger in the air. It is the most commonly seen in cold region. Look at this. Look at this diagram. I hope uh, you have seen this fog in our surroundings. The fog is nothing but when warm air or cools very rapidly, very fastly, it forms a tiny water droplet in the air. This is called fog. The next one, dew. The tiny water droplet thus formed are known as dew. When the tiny water droplets are formed on the um, leaf um, and the leaf or some object, that is called dew. The dew also one of the precipitation, but it is formed in the like a water droplet on the leaf or object. The next one is frost. When the dew drops freeze to form ice, it is called frost. The dew is a liquid state of water. When the liquid state of this water is changed into ice cube, that is called frost. The next one, hail. In cold places, a raindrop freeze into balls of ice. Passing through the cold air in the atmosphere, the frozen raindrops fall as ice hail. You know that sometimes the rain fall in the form of ice cube. That is called hail. The next one is snow. When cloud became very cold, the water vapor present in it changes directly into ice crystals instead of water droplet. This falls down to earth as snow. When the cloud or became very cold, the water present in the atmosphere directly changed into ice crystals instead of water droplet. So this fall down on the earth is called snow. Dear students, I hope you understood what is meant by the precipitation. The falling of water droplet is called precipitation. The precipitation is divided into four types. One is a fog, dew, frost, hail, and snow. Thank you for watching.